Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Homespun Yak. We took a week off, kind of inadvertently, but it's Christmas and New Year's, so fuck off. How about that? How's it
Oh
going,
no,
Kyle?
stop. Yeah, I'm just trying to manage the flood of emails and just angry people because God forbid we take a week off and not I don't know, not provide any content for a week. I mean, it's detrimental to a lot more people's lives than you think, apparently. So we're
Well,
back, guys.
what
Calm
annoys
down.
me is how entitled people feel. Like,
I
damn.
know, like I can't take a break. We can't have a vacation, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you were freaking Gary V over here. People just dying for the content.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, geez. Yeah, Gary V. Yet again. So,
Yeah,
right before we started the podcast, you were telling me something really interesting. Care to
yeah.
share?
No, it's pretty private. I'd rather not.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. So anyway, let's
No,
move on
no, no.
to.
I'll share. I'll share. Yeah, my cousin apparently over the weekend. Uh, I'm not going to say any names here, but he
Giorgio.
well, it's out now. Um, he was having some problems. He noticed that his urine was pretty much brown, um, and that's really not the color urine is supposed to be. So it was an alarming signal that his body gave him. His body was communicating, "Hey, there's something potentially wrong here." And
Potentially, we're not sure.
yeah,
Something might be wrong.
just a warning sign here. Could be, might want to check it out,
Yeah.
maybe. So he did, and they went to the hospital, and turns out he had rhabdomyolysis, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think he actually had it once before, but I don't know for sure when or why. And this
Hmm.
time, he says that he did a pretty intense workout the day
I'll say.
of. I don't believe it was as intense as what you might think. Was not in the realm of like a David Goggins 500-mile race or anything like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Um, he did also have a quite a binge drinking night as well after that workout.
I
So
see.
I want to get your opinion, A, on what might have caused it, and B, what rhabdo really is for people who've never heard of it, because I think it's quite rare, he said.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I wrote an article on rhabdo. Actually, it's an interesting condition.
Well, you
It
had a
is.
video that you made as well, and they actually watched it.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, yeah. And they said that I don't know if they watched it and then they're like, let's go to the hospital, but I think maybe my mom sent it to them and they're like, yeah, I mean, that definitely helped, kind
Uh,
of clear everything up.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm really glad I could help. Yeah. So rhabdo is so when you're born, you have X amount of muscle cells. Like those never change, which is what makes muscle cells so incredible. Is that like from the day you're born all the way until your deathbed, you have the same muscle cells throughout your entire life. So they have to be incredibly robust and incredibly powerful and have the ability to adapt to any sort of stimulus that you apply to them. So obviously when we lift weights, we go through muscular hypertrophy, so the actual muscle cells themselves grow larger, but we don't actually go through what's called hyperplasia where we create more muscle cells. So how that fits
Mm,
into rhabdo is that if a person works out really intensely, and that's relative to that person. So for some people
hmm
it might be pretty low intensity, but you build up over time as your muscle cells become more and more adept at different things. If you work out really intensely, and actually you mentioned drinking a lot, um, dehydration fits into that as well. That the muscle cells essentially incur so much damage that they die. So the actual muscle cell itself ends up going through a process called necrosis, where it has so many holes in it that it just completely just unravels, and everything inside of the cell then spills out into the bloodstream. So what's problematic about that is that inside of our muscle cells is what's called myoglobin. Myoglobin is filled with iron, and with these iron molecules, if you have a buildup of that iron, then it starts to do so. It's ferrous. That's what it's called. It's ferrous, and it ends up doing damage to anything around it because it is reactive. So if a molecule is a free radical, so if you think of like reactive oxygen species, like any sort of atom that is missing an electron will start to pull at other molecules to take electrons from them. And that's exactly what this iron does. And once it gets to the kidneys, and starts pulling electrons from all these different molecules that make up the kidney structure, and starts doing damage to those. So ultimately what can happen if you don't get it treated is kidney failure and then death after that. So it's incredibly important. And the reason why your urine turns brown is because you're dehydrated. So that goes to your point about, him or she or they or zer. They were drinking, which obviously dehydrates you. So from that, in combination with a workout, definitely played a huge factor. And then his kidneys, or their kidneys, were struggling from that point on and couldn't deal with that iron overload, which was damaging all the kidney cells. So you have kidney cells that are dying, you have muscle cells that are dying, and you have this ferrous environment that your kidneys are trying to get rid of as quickly as possible. So that's why you get this brown. It's essentially just the loss of like tons of cells and that iron that's being pissed out, essentially.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a pretty serious condition. Like you can have it multiple times and like it'll turn out okay. Like you can definitely recover from it completely, but yeah, you don't want to get it over and over and over again, because again, going back to my original point, that you only have a set amount of muscle cells. So if you actually kill them, not just like damage them so that they grow in the future, if you kill them, you're not getting them back. So it's definitely something that you want to avoid. Unlike David Goggins, who doesn't seem to give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't care. And as far as like the recovery process, I mean, it looks like he'll probably be monitored for a few days. I guess they would. What would they be doing there? Just making sure hydration levels are getting back to normal, and like looking at kidney numbers and things like that, monitoring that.
Yeah, exactly. So what they'll do is they'll pump him full of water, just to start diluting some of that iron and some of those dead cells, those dead muscle cells. And then they're also going to check his creatinine levels. Creatinine is a proxy for not just kidney health, but also for muscle health. And then they'll also look at what's called this is always tough for me to say, glomerular filtration rate, GFR, which is the filtration rate of the kidneys. And if it starts dipping, if it starts dropping, then they know that person is undergoing kidney failure, and then they need to have emergency, or some sort of emergency procedure, if that's through dialysis or whatever it might be. So is that probably going to happen? No. I mean, I'm sure at this point, like, you kind of reach a peak and then it starts to decline from there. So I'm sure they're fine by now, but they're still being cautious. They can't be like, oh, you're still pissing brown? just go.
You're good. Going down, so you can leave. Don't drink for a while.
Yeah.
And would rhabdo have any sort of impact at all on the liver whatsoever, or not really? Mostly just kidneys.
Honestly, if you have iron that's floating through your bloodstream, uncontrolled iron, because technically you have what's called hemoglobin, which also has iron in it, which does travel through your bloodstream, but it's contained within within essentially a vessel. So it's controlled. But if you have free iron, if it ended up in the liver, yeah, it could certainly do liver damage as well. It could do damage to really any tissue of the body. It's just people focus so much on the kidneys because that's what ends up regulating that whole process. So yeah.
And are people who get this, I mean, is there some sort of genetic factor that would make certain people more susceptible to rhabdo than other people that maybe would do the same thing? Or would it be pretty much, if you did what this person did, you probably would have it as well?
You could. No, I mean, 100%, there's definitely genes involved. Genetics are absolutely involved. The ability for muscle cells to be adaptable to a stimulus is definitely very much comes down to genes, as well as, of course, your past behavior. It's probably more based on your past behavior. Like let's say a person didn't work out, or just like went running or something like that, and then they decide to lift weights for like 5 hours straight to the point where they could barely move anymore. Like that's so much stimulus that if you took a bodybuilder and they did the same thing, they'd come out and they'd be like, I'm worn out, but I feel good. But this other person who's never worked out does it, and they like their muscle cells are just it's just going through necrosis and dying.
Shock.
Yeah, exactly. So genes definitely play a factor because you can have particular genes that help protect against that process. But necrosis is something that essentially happens to you, as opposed to other forms of cell death that are programmed. Like the cells decide, in a manner of speaking, they decide, okay, we've had enough of this, or it's more advantageous for us to just peace out. But necrosis is something that's just like so much damage. It's like having somebody shoot you with bullets, right? Eventually your body just can't handle that, so you end up dying. It's not really a choice that you make. So yeah, it's definitely a worrisome condition, but for most people they end up recovering. So I'm sure they'll be fine. But I'm curious. I'm definitely curious how much exercise they ended up doing and how much they drank afterwards as well. I hope this is a lesson to other people.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics on either one, but I don't know. I don't know if it could have been a freak type thing, or could have been just extreme on both ends of the spectrum. But everything's gonna be fine. I just was like, wow. I mean, I've definitely heard of it, through people like Joe Rogan and David Goggins, who I guess David Goggins has had it a few times, and then Joe Rogan said that he got it when he was doing the Sober October challenge a couple years back, when he was just doing like working out like 8 hours out of the day.
Right.
Like at the end, he's like, I walked down a flight of stairs and like I thought I was gonna have a heart attack, and like I was pissing brown and stuff. He's like, I think I've done enough.
I think that's the ultimate sign. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, other than your cousin's rhabdo, how was your holiday? How was Christmas and New Year's and all that? Catch me up, Kyle.
Oh, well, it was quite different from years past because, like I mentioned, my dad and my sister had COVID, and I think my sister probably was, she was probably not contagious at that point, but my dad had tested positive again like the day before Christmas because he was, just hoping that he was going to test negative and be able to at least see people. But
right.
So I mean, I still went over there and like just went on the porch and like kind of dropped off stuff, and and so that was just it was different. It was different. I've had two pretty shitty Christmases in a row. I mean, it was a good Christmas in that at least I got to see people and I got everything I wanted. So I didn't throw a tantrum, and Yeah,
36, but last year I had 38. Okay, Duddykins, we'll buy you 3 more presents when we go out.
I want it now. And and yeah, it was just, 2 years in a row. I mean, I was like, the year prior, I got surgery on Christmas Eve, and
Yeah.
it's just like, man, well, and the whole time I'm like, just thinking 1 year you're gonna be better, and like
Yeah.
Christmas is gonna rock, and it was
Yeah,
like,
it's
nope,
gonna rock. Yeah.
nope.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, the one thing that I had on my list that I definitely wanted was a Garmin running watch,
Oh yeah. How does
which I
that
was
work?
able to get. It's great. I mean, this is the watch. It's hard to tell, really, but and it's basically a GPS watch. So whenever you run, it just picks up where you are and gives you your time and your distance completed. And it does a lot of other things like, well, I'll pull it up. Basically, it's you connect it to your phone, and
Mhm.
you can read your texts and emails and whatnot, which is not the greatest thing because your arms vibrating now, but
Yeah.
tracks your heart rate, obviously tracks your stress level, your steps, your calories burned,
Mhm.
your respiration, your body battery,
Wait,
um,
your body
your
battery?
your VO2 max.
What's your body
Um,
battery?
oh well, your body battery.
Kyle just admitted he's a cyborg by accident.
I'm becoming that. I'm already a biohacker, as you well know.
Yeah.
Body battery measures your body's energy reserves to help you manage your day. Uh, Having high value. I don't rate this at all because I just really don't understand it.
Yeah.
But apparently, if you have a high body battery, like you could probably do a lot more physically
Mm.
than if your body battery was lower.
Right.
I don't really care at all about that. It doesn't
Right.
really. I mean, maybe when I wear it more and it starts to read more of my numbers, it'll make more sense. But I don't really care.
Does it tr-
VO2 max. Oh,
does it
go ahead.
track your sleep and stuff like that too?
Yeah, it
Like
can
the
track your
Whoop?
sleep.
Yeah, that's really
Yep.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it can do a lot of things that I probably haven't even discovered yet. But yeah, it can track your sleep and tell you your heart rate during your sleep and how much quality rest you got and give you the information on that, and tells you like your recovery, your VO2 max, which mine's 52. My fitness age is 20, by the way. um, uh, which I don't know how they calculate that or if it's true at all, but
They can't
that's
they
what it
can't
says.
test the VO2. I know
Okay.
that for a
I,
fact,
I
but
was
like
gonna say, like, I don't really know. I had to look up what it was, um, but I just don't know how through a watch on your skin that they can track that accurately. But
yeah.
things like heart rate and steps and mileage, and in this one you can actually download music onto and listen, um,
Seriously.
via Bluetooth. So yeah, I don't have to have my phone at all when I
That's
go
really
on a
cool.
run or anything like that.
That's
So
really
it's
cool.
really nice, and I'm still learning a lot about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, the VO2 max, I don't know other than like going to a cardiologist or a doctor or something like that and having actual machines hooked up
Mm.
and running on a treadmill in front of a doctor, you would get an accurate reading. But
Yeah, right.
that's
So
what
do
I've been
you
telling everybody. I'm
yeah.
20.
And your VO2 is 50 milliliters per kilogram, which would be impressive. And I would not doubt that at all, to be honest with you, just because of the amount that you run and that you're like
Yeah.
really into it, whatnot. Like that would not surprise me whatsoever. I think some of the
Mm.
like elite runners are like around, don't quote me on this, but quote me on this. it's like 70 milliliters per kilogram or something like that. I'm talking like the people that are like world class runners, like long distance runners and whatnot. I mean, those guys have lung capacities
Oh yeah.
that are just absolutely insane. Matter of fact, you know what would be really interesting for you to do one day is like once you get up to like a certain level, like when you feel like you've kind of gotten near that peak level of fitness that you want to get, you should get an echocardiogram. That would be super cool to see because your heart is probably going to increase in size over
Size,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, which would be super cool to see.
Yeah. Well,
And
my
what's
dad actually did one
oh,
not
did
too
he?
long ago at Duke University. Yeah, he just
Yeah.
reached out and they were like, "Yeah, you can do one here." And yeah, they had noticed that his heart was bigger and what's like did they test for like the calcium level or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like that in
sure.
your
I mean,
heart
to
as
check
well?
the health of the heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it'd be really cool to like see the size of your heart, the stroke volume, so the amount of blood that gets pumped per pump
Hmm.
of the heart, and also you can do this right now. Actually, is your heart rate over time will decline. Not because of like age or anything, but because you become better and better. Your heart becomes more and more efficient until
Mm.
eventually, like you can have a heart rate that's as low as like 20, 20 beats per minute, just because it's so powerful. It's just squeezing
Wow.
so much blood per beat.
Oh,
So that's a great sign that
just
your
becomes
heart is
more
incredibly
efficient.
healthy. Yeah, exactly. So that'd be really cool. And if in the future, and with that Garmin now, you'd be able to track your heart rate
Yeah.
really well. Did you
Yeah, it
did you
tells
ever
you.
have another watch or anything like that?
No, this is the first one I've had because I
Yeah.
started an app on my phone, but it was just simply telling me, how far I was going. So it'll like vibrate every mile and tell you like how fast your mile. So you just
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah,
That's
when to
super
turn
cool.
around and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it tells you your like lowest heart rate of the day, then your highest heart rate at the day, and
Yeah.
then just tracks it. If you want to look at the app while you're doing it, it'll just track it that way as well. But yeah, definitely a cool thing that I will use for a long time, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool that you also don't have to have your phone as well.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
sure it's
big
far
because
more
like
accurate too.
yeah, because it's right on your skin and everything, and yeah, I'm just sick of having to wear that like big patch on my arm with my phone in it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That'll like just carry. I mean, it wasn't like a big deal, but it's so much nicer now
Yeah.
to have just a watch on, not all
And
that
the
extra
information
weight.
is right there, right? Like you can,
Oh
like
yeah,
while you're
like I'm
running,
running
you
and
can
like I'm
just,
just seeing like point. It'll track like point mileage, through it, and just tells you your overall time and then your best mileage times and
mm,
your 5K time, whatever it is.
yeah. How far are you going with your runs now? You said you were doing like a half mile or half
Half
marathon, weren't you?
mile.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting in the big leagues.
Yeah, that's as far as I've gone, and then it'll just be like, you know, 5K, 10K, um, and then like I'll go 10 miles and then sometimes half marathon. I haven't gone beyond that um, yet because I just don't really see the point in it right now
Mhm.
or ever really. I mean, maybe one day, but like I just always think when I'm done with a half marathon, I'm just like, if I was doing a full marathon, I would have to just immediately just turn around and do that whole thing again straight away, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like that is just something that is absolute. Because sometimes, like, even after a half marathon, I'm like, I feel really bad. Like, I
Yeah,
feel pretty nauseous. Like,
really.
maybe this isn't like, maybe it's not super good for you to go like a full marathon. I don't know.
Uh,
I feel like there's a cutoff point where it can be too much because I mean, if you do the proper training and eating before, I'm sure, when you work up to it, you'll feel fine. But I just don't know at what point when is enough. Because if I go to a marathon, then I'm like, what's next?
Yeah, right. Iron Man.
Yeah, I know. But maybe one day. But I think the next big actual race when those are back would be a half marathon. So hopefully, like in the spring or something, we'll be able to have those in public, but somehow doubt it.
Yeah, I think spring might be optimistic, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know when things will be returning back to normal. Guess once everybody gets their government chips injected.
Yep. Warp speed. Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah.
Ignite.
Ignite. And then just fly off like Star Trek.
Oh man. Only 16 sexy days till Joe Biden gets in office.
Well, that depends because Georgia might find the 11,000 votes that Donald Trump is asking them to find.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be the Christian thing to do.
Yeah. Did you see the report on that?
No, I heard that he called did he call the governor?
He called the Secretary of State of Georgia and was like, if you could just like find 11,000. He's like, I only need 11,680 votes or something like that. He's like, if you could just find that. And the Secretary of State was like,
make it happen, all right?
Just no. So
that's something out of a movie, like
it totally is,
a mafia movie.
That will have changed nothing in people's eyes. Like the people who like him, they still like him. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. They're like, they're there. They just don't want to give it to him.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, people's disdain for Mitch McConnell is rising rapidly.
To grow.
Yeah, exactly.
His unwillingness to negotiate on behalf of the people.
Well, not to even put $2,000 up for a vote. That's been his big thing. He's been blocking that. So, Donald Trump wants that, and funny enough, the Democrats have all been like, "Oh yeah, okay, totally, we'd totally be down for that," and then Mitch is just like, "No." So that's a good impersonation. Yeah. So that's the latest news in politics. Oh, and Georgia is voting tomorrow, right? The runoff election.
Oh yeah, for the Senate.
Yeah, for the Senate. So we'll know if the Democrats will.
If that goes Democrat, then I guess McConnell can't really continue to block stuff like that, right?
As far as I understand,
Democrats have the majority, then.
Yeah, as far as I understand.
And then when Kamala Harris gets in, she'll have the deciding vote, which will obviously be Democratic.
Right. Yeah.
So for the $2,000 thing, maybe, it just depends on what happens, but there's more of a chance that occurs, after January 20th, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're just going to forget about it though.
Probably.
I don't know. Joe Biden's already saying stuff.
I don't expect to see a dime.
So. No, I don't. I don't either. Plus, I still think it's laughable. They're just like, here's $600 or here's $2,000. Just do what you will with it. Even Joe Rogan was talking about it on a recent podcast with Tony Hinchcliffe, where he was talking about how hypocritical these politicians are, which is totally what I've been saying the whole time, and I still stand by it stronger than ever, even though I voted for the first time. like the mayor of Chicago going for a haircut.
Yeah,
When she said, everybody stay at home orders, nobody can get a haircut, but she got one, and
sure.
like stupidly was like,
Nancy
sure.
Pelosi did as well.
Nancy Pelosi, exactly, and then
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom, and then the mayor of Austin gave a thing about like, oh, we need to socially distance and we can't travel and all that, and he did that. He said that on video while he was in Cabo on vacation.
Farting his ass off.
Like, that's crazy. That is so crazy. How could anyone take these people seriously? Like,
Yeah, I
of
know.
course people are going to be like, "No, I'm not going to listen to you."
Yeah. And by the way, these are all Democrats too.
Damn right, damn Democrat.
And I don't know what that really means, but it just is what it is. And they, yeah, I mean, if you're like living and dying by what a politician says about a virus, not what a virologist says
Yeah,
or a scientist or
yeah,
anybody actually that has experience in that field or that world professionally, then you're a tool as well. You're an absolute tool if you're going to
yeah,
listen to some suit dummy talking head mf'er on the
yeah,
news.
yeah,
You're nothing but a tool. You need to look in the mirror and realize that you're in control of your own life, and not the TV is controlling you. So that's just a little PSA for all you
great.
suit dummies.
I'm glad we got that out there. Kyle's mini rant.
Yep. Which brings me to UNC
Ah, yeah, it's a good thing you
again.
mentioned that because I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
UNC
Well.
dropped out of the rankings, didn't they? In
Oh.
basketball.
Well. Sure they did. And they better have.
Oh, okay.
They had better have dropped out, and they did, because State won. State beat them in basketball. Okay, and then they played Georgia Tech. UNC played Georgia Tech in basketball the next game and got beat by Georgia Tech.
In what
They
sport,
then
though?
basketball,
Oh, okay.
basketball.
All right. All right. Thank you.
So, but keep in mind, they were 14. They were ranked 14th in the country coming into this
Right.
uh, NC State, or just at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Um, so they lose to State, UNC back to back, and then they played Notre Dame, who was 3-6 coming into that game, and only won by 1 point. So safe to say they are no longer ranked, and I was completely right that they were maybe the most fraudulent team
Yeah.
in the nation.
Wow. Where's State now?
Oh, we're not even in the radar of the
Okay.
NCAA.
Okay. Are they really not? They're
Don't
not even ranked?
No, we're not even. No, we're an afterthought at best.
What? That's stunning.
Yeah, yeah.
How many games have
Because
you
now
lost?
one game.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
State has lost one game and is not ranked. That's what you're telling me. Is
correct.
that what you're
Yes,
telling me?
that is correct, and we
I'm
won't be.
so glad I jumped off that bandwagon because I would be not as calm as you are right now.
Well, yeah, I'm just used to it. Um, yeah, it's just something else. But yeah, 6-4. UNC is 6-4. And yeah, we've only lost one game, and continue to go unranked. But I don't blame them, because the minute we get ranked is the minute we lose.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
almost don't want to rank,
Yeah.
because they did that to us in football this year, going
Oh, yeah.
into the bowl game.
Yep. I
Going
saw.
into the bowl game. Yeah, and we really let the state down. Three
Who'd they play again?
interceptions. Kentucky.
Oh yeah, right.
football, not
Right.
basketball.
Just to be
By
clear
the
on
way, I'm
that.
4-6 Kentucky as well,
Yeah.
which is not even bowl eligible any other time uh, on earth. But yeah, it was just so weird this year, the bowl games, because like, Ohio State, they're like 6-0, and then they're ranked number 3,
Yeah.
and then
Ridiculous.
like other teams like Cincinnati, Coastal Carolina, they didn't lose a single game. They're like, you guys are in the teens, and like, I mean, I get it on one hand, but like, then you like Wake Forest had a losing record. They put them in a bowl with Wisconsin.
Yeah. Three
Somehow
and three
just got
Wisconsin. Yep.
demolished. Yeah,
Yeah. 3-3 Wisconsin. I mean,
yeah.
Wisconsin sucked this year.
Even if you're 500, you can't go to a bowl, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
It's just like you're celebrating mediocrity, and the fact that people like Kentucky and Wake Forest actually accepted a bowl bid with a losing record. I mean, that's just no class.
No class. No
You
class.
should be, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, the Big Ten
Um,
should disqualify themselves completely
I
this
know,
season.
I know.
Having played
But then
6
Ohio
games.
State just rolls over Clemson like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what
Right.
the hell happened there?
It's because they didn't play like 5 games, so they
Yeah,
were
that's
fresh.
true. Yep.
And then I guess now next they play Alabama, or did that already happen? Damn, it's what
No,
January 4th.
that's coming up like maybe next week,
Mhm.
next Monday,
Yeah. Okay. Great. Great.
which could be a good game.
It could. It could. Yeah.
Just
I
like
guess.
the NFL playoff picture next weekend.
Yeah. Happy to be a Packers fan. Feels
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, that's your Aaron Rodgers jersey on now.
Yeah.
He's gonna be
Nope.
the MVP as well.
No. I've still renounced my Packer fandom. I think the only way that I'd become a Packer fan again is if I became a shareholder of
Okay.
of the actual.
You could do that though.
Yeah, my old boss actually was a shareholder. He had one of the
Really?
shares. Yeah, he had it up on a plaque. In that
Nice.
instance, I could never give up a team. But if like, who knows? Maybe they'll go to the Super Bowl. Maybe they'll win it.
Maybe they'll
But
win.
all I know is that they've been in these positions where they've been like 14-2, 15-1, and they go to the
The number
playoffs
one
and then
seed.
they lose. It happens like clockwork. It just great in the regular season, get to the playoffs. Sometimes they win one game and then they end up losing in the conference finals.
Looks like they would probably play Tampa Bay at home in
Yeah,
the second
yeah.
round.
Yeah, unless Tampa Bay gets beaten by the Washington football team.
Which would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd be all for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Aaron Rodgers got to the Super Bowl and won, would you become a fan again?
No.
What if
I
he
can't.
reached out? What if I told you he was on the other line? About to come
What?
in now?
Ari? Raj?
Let's just pretend I'm Aaron Rodgers. Hey, Nick, it's me. It's Aaron. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, Aaron. It's going great now that you're here. You know, I just want to let
Oh,
you know
man.
I renounced my Packer fandom because the team constantly disappoints me.
Well, it's a team effort, and sometimes things don't go our way. But
Yeah.
we feel like we got a strong squad, and it'd be even stronger if we had you back. And
Oh
what I'm
man.
willing to do is I'm willing to give you a jersey signed, Aaron Rodgers signed jersey. I could be MVP this year as well, so that's something to keep in mind.
That's true.
You know, I could be MVP, and if we do make the Super Bowl, I'm gonna fly you and 2 other people of your choosing out to the Super Bowl, where you can watch from a socially distanced area, and then you can celebrate with the team if we win. And
That's great.
all you'd have to do is post an Instagram of you in my jersey, just simply saying that I'm a Packer for life. Aaron's the greatest ever.
Yeah.
And I'm a cheesehead till I die.
Okay.
What do you say, buddy? What do you say, pal?
Here's the deal, A-Raj. if I don't get stock, you can forget about it.
Oh, that's a good one. What do you say?
No, I wasn't kidding. I like legitimately.
Wow.
Get stock. I'm out.
Man, so that's what you want. You need stock, you don't need any of the other things?
No, you can save your jersey. I don't care.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you one share in the Packers organization. But again, you have to make the social media post and you can never delete it.
I can never delete it. Okay.
Never delete it. And if you do, then we renounce your share and
wow.
shame you publicly on our social media, which, by the way, has a few million followers.
In all seriousness, if I were offered that, I'd probably take it up just so that I would end up deleting it, and so they would shame me because people are stupid enough to be like, I got to check this guy out. And then they would check out my Instagram. I'd get like half the people would be like, oh, fuck you,
fuck
blah, blah,
guy.
blah. And then half the other people would be like, he seems, like somehow these people just like end up getting subscribers no matter what.
Oh, yeah. I
would post on Homespun Yak. And then I would just have people like pile in.
Up.
Yep.
You tell your story here live.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Who do you think is going to win the MVP this year?
Rodgers.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because Patrick Mahomes didn't play that. He played okay, but he didn't play great in his last game. And then he didn't play in a couple days ago when they played yesterday. When this goes out a couple days ago.
Yeah, it would just be him and Patrick and then maybe Derrick Henry in the discussion.
Yeah, he got 2,000 yards.
So, I don't know. It'll be certainly an interesting weekend next week with the games, with the wild card games and whatnot. And
yeah.
See if old Phillip Rivers can make one more run.
He's playing for the Colts.
Yeah.
And they're in.
Barely.
Yeah, barely. I don't see them making a run.
Wow.
I think Tampa Bay has a chance. As disappointed as I've been in Green Bay in the past, I do think they have a chance. And obviously Kansas City, right? And I think maybe the Saints.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else that I really feel
Bears,
has a distinct.
Maybe?
They're not in. They're not. They just lost to the Packers. They fell to 8-7 or something like that, or 8-8.
They're in.
No, they're not. Are they really?
Dude,
I don't believe you. What? They just lost to the Packers. Well, if they play the Saints, they're going to get crushed. But NFL playoffs. Here we go. Let's see if. Oh my God, you're right. At 8-8. So I wasn't wrong. They are 8-8, but they made it in. What in the world? How can an 8-8
that's just how bad that's just how bad the NFC East was. That
Seriously.
They were able to sneak in with losing their last game.
Washington football team at 7-9 are in.
Oh,
wow,
that's tough.
Yeah, and they're playing Tampa Bay, so they're going to get just crushed by Tampa Bay. Oh, the Colts or Bills? Who do you got?
Bills.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah. What about
but it could be a good game.
Steelers and the Browns
Browns.
play
That's the game.
in the playoffs. Oh,
Yeah,
snap.
that's the
That's going to
game.
be awesome. Who do you got?
Steelers. But I would not be surprised if the Browns won. I mean, I think that's the game to watch if you had to watch one
Yeah.
next weekend. Or
Yeah.
the Ravens Titans, because that's huge too.
That's going to be big too.
Yeah,
Who
those
do you got
two
on that
games
one?
are. I actually am gonna go Lamar. I think
Really?
they're pretty on fire at the moment, and I don't know, just a feeling.
I'm going Titans. I'm going
All
Titans.
right.
Mainly because I don't really like Lamar that much. I love watching him play, but
Right.
he really annoys me with his passes. Like, he could be so good if he just learned how to pass. And like, I love watching him like go out and runs and stuff like that. But there are just so many times when, if he were just a better passer, they would be almost undefeated. They'd be
I
incredible.
know, and it's not like he doesn't have arm strength because he
No,
does.
yeah, he absolutely does. It's just aggravating watching him play because often I'm like, just pass it, dude. And then he'll end up with
I
a
know.
game, like he'll have a game where he's got like 120 yards passing or something like that. It's like, really? This is it?
Yeah, and then like 150 rushing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I think about like the longevity of his career, and I think like,
Yeah,
I mean, eventually his running is not going to be able to hold up, for that long. It's just like like almost like RG3 in a way.
yeah,
Just like so fixated on one thing that
yeah.
don't try and improve. I mean, Cam Newton's a little bit that way. Like, he's had some great passing games, but he's also had games where he's just terrible at
The
passing, and then he
worst.
just like focuses on his big like size
Yeah,
to just bully his way through stuff. And obviously that hasn't worked out for him. I mean, he had 1 year in 2016
yeah,
where he was MVP and got to the Super Bowl and then won the Super Bowl in my eyes. So, like, I
yeah,
mean, that was just that one time though.
yeah, yeah. You got to be versatile. I mean, that's like not that Tom Brady or Drew Brees were ever like mobile quarterbacks, but
Right.
they still lost mobility as you get older, and then they adapted by working on their passing game and getting rid of the ball quicker. And
Yeah. And they
I
can
don't know.
pass. Just from the
Right.
beginning, they could pass. So,
Yeah.
like, if they
That
lose their
immediately
mobility,
makes you, yeah,
yeah,
longevity wise.
yeah, exactly. If they lose their mobility, everybody's like, okay, cool, fine, whatever. They can still pass. That's their main thing. But if Lamar loses his mobility, I mean, he's going to drop from like a top QB in terms of productivity and efficiency to like one of the worst just because he can't pass. That's that's really frustrating in my eyes. I like him as a
Yeah.
person and stuff like that. I just think that's really
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, they're just, and the likelihood of getting injured while running is super high too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work this year again, I would hope that he would try to make his game a little bit more well-rounded, have a little bit more patience in the pocket than just being like, I don't see anything right now, so I'm
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, right.
And like it works right now, but when you can't do that, you have to sit there a little bit longer and just take it.
Yeah, and you'd think like
So
after last season in the playoffs, like he was a huge limiting factor. He threw multiple interceptions, didn't play very well, all that stuff. Like you'd think that, and everyone keeps saying you need to work on your passing. It's just like in basketball when you like Giannis, right? Like everybody's
hmm
like, "Hey, you need to work on your shooting." The dude hasn't worked on his shooting. No, I
no,
mean, it's like
no,
you have these superstars that are like
yeah,
incredible, but they would be like just like break the ceiling and like get there, like be the guy.
Yeah.
If they just worked on this one thing, like free throws is another example.
Free
Like
throws.
he's not great at free throws either. It's just like how can you not like work on that stuff? It's like you
Yeah,
come
we know
back
you.
and you're still a great player. Yeah, nobody's denying that, but like once people take that away, Toronto in the playoffs and then this past time the Heat did the same thing. They just create a wall and then he can't do
Yeah,
anything.
what are you gonna
And it's
do?
like nothing penetrates into his head of like, oh, I need to do something about
Yeah,
this.
they're
Like, no,
leaving me open at the three, but like I'm too scared to shoot it because I'll miss,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
won't be in there to get a rebound.
yeah. So
And they're
it's, I
like,
mean,
take that shot.
yeah, it's like self-explanatory stuff. It's just like like how many years do you need to like fail? Like you think, like no one should actually think this comes from an ex-Bucks fan. Nobody should actually think that the Bucks are going to get into the playoffs and just magically make their way through when other teams have proven on two separate occasions, that's 8 games, that they've shown that they can just create a wall and Giannis will be
Yeah,
null and void, be nothing anymore. Like how
exactly.
can you do
He'll force himself. He'll get offensive fouls on himself.
totally?
Get frustrated. Yeah, and then it's like when you're one dimensional, but you're exceptionally one dimensional, like
Yeah.
him, like Lamar. Like the first couple seasons, people are like, "Holy shit, this is unreal!" Like
Yep.
MVP.
Yep.
And then they're like, "Okay, we know how to stop this now. If you're going to
Yeah.
continue to do that, like you'll probably have big games, but you're not going to be like you were when we never saw that before because now we saw it and now we know how to stop it. And if you don't evolve your game, like that's why Michael Jordan's the best, is because he was like that in the 80s for the Bulls when he was young. Like he was really skinny and he would just get destroyed when he went inside and they forced him to shoot more, and like he still scored a lot, but he couldn't be as effective in drawing fouls and things like that. And so what did he do? He like looked at all these different areas to improve his game and also his physique. He really hit the gym like every single day to on the off season after Detroit won, and he came back with a vengeance. He was like he gained like 30 pounds of muscle and was a completely different physical specimen and was able to do more things. And he obviously had a complete game. Um, and yeah, when you just, I don't know, he just was never complacent. I feel like some people now are just complacent, like especially that Giannis got that insane deal with the Bucks. I mean, I'm glad he stayed with the Bucks. I think
Yeah,
that's
me too.
awesome for the city and for him, really, and for the sport overall. But yeah, I mean, people know that you're going to just get to the basket, and that's really your only thing. Is like you're really fast, you're really long, tall, super athletic. I don't know. I feel like if you can't shoot free throws, you're never going to win a championship.
No. No, you can't shoot free throws and you can't shoot a jump shot. You can't shoot threes. Like you're not going anywhere. And then like once you get knocked out of the game, you're useless. Then like is your team good enough to carry? He doesn't have another superstar. He has another star, I guess, like in Chris Middleton. But
Yeah,
and now they picked up Drew Holiday, which is great. He's been playing really fantastic. And their deal for sending away Difenzienzo, whatever his name is, their
yeah,
rookie that they had 2 years ago. I really liked him, and I'm glad that the deal fell through because he's actually been playing really well, just like he did last year.
yeah,
So, I mean, again, the team looks really complete, looks really good, but they have to have him play at a top tier level, and he's not going to be able to do that in the playoffs. So, and
yeah.
I don't know if you, I mean, you saw, I'm sure you've seen like Brooklyn, how they've been
Oh my
playing.
God,
They're like a
yeah,
nuclear bomb. I mean,
yeah,
they can just drop points whenever they want. So imagine Like imagine those two guys, Kyrie and Durant, and they're just dropping threes, and then
Yeah.
Giannis is being blocked out from his 2-pointers. Like,
Yeah.
there's no
'Cause
way.
Kevin Durant is like, maybe an inch shorter than Giannis. Like he's a
Maybe.
super tall guy.
Yeah,
And he can shoot from anywhere. He can just shoot
anywhere.
the lights out. He can
Exactly.
post you up. He can shoot free throws. Yeah, and then Kyrie's the same way. I mean, he's got maybe the best handles in the game outside of maybe one or two other people, but yeah, he can create space and he can create opportunities for everybody and he can shoot. So, and then that guy Levert that's coming off the bench for them, he would start pretty much on every other team if Kevin Durant wasn't there,
Yeah.
So they've got they've built a really good team, and both of those guys have won championships before, so they kind of have that experience in their pocket as well. So
Right.
yeah, it'll be an interesting season. I mean, I know it's still early, so it's hard to really say definitively like, oh, this team's going to suck or this team's going to win it all and things like that. But yeah, the Nets look like they look about as good as people thought they were going to, if not better.
Yeah.
And then the Lakers look worse than people thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
But again, it's still early. I mean,
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I'd be shocked if the Lakers didn't do really well throughout the rest of the season and then go into the playoffs and, I don't know, get like a top 3 seed at least. Like if they don't get a top 3 seed, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. I'll definitely be shocked. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like teams are built now so that like star players can take like 2 to 3 games off a month if they want. Because like the third or fourth game, like Kevin Durant and Kyrie just didn't even play. They weren't injured. They were just in street clothes on the bench, and they're like, yeah, this is how it's going to go. Like, we don't want to play.
Yeah, well,
because we're like too tired, and they're like, okay.
trailblazed by Kawhi Leonard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The whole sitting down, I need to rest, all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about all that. I mean, one thing about LeBron, I will say he does, play every game. I mean, there's some games where he will probably sit out a quarter or two if they're doing well or if it's just a meaningless game, but he is at least in his gear, ready to come on if he needs to.
Yeah, he does play most games. Yeah, people have accused him of trying to just stat pad and try to chase Kareem Abdul, but who knows? Whatever. I mean, he's not the GOAT. He'll never be the GOAT.
No, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. So anyway, Freiburg, they played Stuckelstagel in soccer, and they won 3-2. What a good game!
Did you watch that game?
No.
No, I didn't either. But I have been obviously keeping up with the Premier League, and today, very shocking result.
Shocking news.
Liverpool, defending champions, defending Premier League champions, the mighty Liverpool, lost to Southampton.
The Southampton Sausages?
1-0. They might as well be. The Southampton mince pies. No, they lost to Southampton 1-0. They got an early goal, and then they were just like, everybody is on defense now.
Really?
And it was just a pure onslaught of Liverpool just firing
Really?
balls into the box
That's so
and
funny.
missing chances, and just Southampton just hanging on for dear life for
That's
about
so
80
funny.
minutes. And they
Yeah.
did. And their coach literally fell to the ground and like started crying at the end of the game.
That's so that's so funny.
And Liverpool were joint, tied for number one going into this game,
Oh.
top of the league, with Manchester United on
Oh.
points. And then obviously they dropped potential 3 points today, and Manchester United, I don't know when their next game is, but they have a game in hand and they're tied, so they could potentially go to
Take the
first
lead.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll
Yeah.
be it's been a long time since someone has been in first other than Liverpool. So it's a much more competitive, wide open Premier League season, which is always what you would prefer to see, because this time last year, Liverpool was already pretty much champions because they were so much further ahead than everybody else. But this year, it could be, three, maybe four teams who could win it, which is
Arsenal
always fun.
in there.
Well, Arsenal were, I guess I talked about them last time. Yeah. They're actually doing a lot. They've won like 3 games in a row now.
Oh, okay. Well, good for
Yeah.
them. At
Yeah.
least their
Which,
fans can. Whew.
yeah, I know. Yeah, they beat Chelsea to start it off, which was like they were massive underdogs to that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
How
then
good
they've
is
just
Chelsea
won.
actually now?
Well, they were favorites to be in the top four, certainly, at the beginning of the season. I mean, they have the talent on paper to be very competitive and to potentially win, but they have fallen off terribly bad. I mean, they're like ninth or 10th place now. They've lost like 3 games in a row. They can't win or draw. And yeah, it's pretty bad. Like that guy, Christian Pulisic, um, he's an American player and he's on Chelsea, and he is probably their best player right now as far as like just work ethic and making things happen in the
Yeah.
past couple games.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's just it's very strange when you see how much money they've spent on players this year, and then how badly they're doing against teams that didn't even spend the fraction of what they did. And now the manager, Frank Lampard, who's a Chelsea legend, um, he could be on his way out.
After one season of doing poorly.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a team, West Brom, that they came up this year and they're doing really bad, and they fired their manager like a couple weeks back. But
Huh.
like with soccer, I mean, sometimes they're like, yeah, we'll give you like a season, or we'll give you like 3 years with this team to build your own team and like all this stuff. And sometimes they're like, yeah, we're not giving you like one more day. You're done,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's all your fault.
Yeah.
It's not the players' effort. I mean,
No.
that's just the thing. It's like it's all goes on the manager, and it's like as soon as you start doing bad as a good team, someone's like, how much time do you think he has?
Yeah. Right.
They're
Right.
like, I don't know, we'll see after this week. If he loses, he might be gone by the month's end, or if he wins, that could extend his life a little bit longer. And that's how the Arsenal manager was. Like, they're like, yeah, if he doesn't win at Chelsea, like, we want him out. And then he wins, and they're like, I never said I wanted him out.
Yeah.
I love that. It's just stuff like that. Like,
Right.
always a back and like, he's the greatest man who ever lived to like get him out of my club. He sucks.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so intense. But they spent like 80 million to bring on this guy from Germany. Chelsea did, Kai Havertz, and he's a midfielder, and they're like, oh yeah, he's the next whatever. The dude hasn't started a game since like the third game of the season. He's just that bad that they're
Yeah.
like, we can't even start this guy. And then their striker they bought, it was also German, and they spent like 40 million pounds on him. I think he's got 1 goal this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then Giroud is on Chelsea,
Oh,
and he just rides the bench every game, but they bring him on every time, and he'll score a goal. He scored 4 goals in one game for them this
are
season,
you kidding
and
me?
he just rides the bench. He's like the most disrespected striker I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the
Really?
man won a World Cup with France
Yeah.
and scores or makes opportunities every chance he's on the field, and he's still just riding the bench every single game. It just blows my mind. I hate it.
Uh, that is pretty stunning.
I mean, maybe he doesn't get along with the manager, but it's just wild.
But it's funny. I mean, if that were the case, like letting somebody's stubbornness get in the way of,
Yeah, then it's like, you got to put that to the side. You got to, or you're gone,
especially
basically.
when your job is on the line.
Yeah,
This person can
it's
save your job.
yeah. Or is it just so stubborn that you spent like so much money on this one guy that like we have to play him?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know.
No, it's looking bad for them. But anyway, it's still, we're a little over halfway through, but we got a long way to go.
You're my only source of soccer news, so
That's fine.
I'm just gonna keep asking
I
for your
know. Oh,
commentary.
yeah, every scenario, I've got it covered.
Yeah, yeah, I believe it. I thrive on your unbiased
Yeah,
perspective of the soccer teams.
especially college basketball, too.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah,
Super
for
unbiased.
sure, for sure, super unbiased. How's Duke doing, by the way?
I think they canceled their season.
Oh, they canceled their season.
Yeah.
Duke, ranked number 2.
Well, yeah, they were another one that was like ranked in the top 10 and then just got smashed by Michigan State at home and then probably lost another game. And then he was like, we want to cancel the season because COVID.
Yeah,
And they're like,
right.
really?
Yeah,
It just sucks. Like, what do you do as a player, like as a freshman or
or a
you've
senior.
already played or a senior? Yeah, especially a senior because you like played 5 games. Can you redshirt at that point? No, probably not. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I would
If they're
imagine
going to make
NCAA would make
exceptions,
some sort of exception. I can't, like, that would be heartbreaking.
but then you got like another, I don't know, guys coming up out of high school.
Too bad. Stay in
Too
high
bad.
school.
Yeah, that's true. Stay in
Skip
school.
a year. Don't
Yeah.
recruit them.
Be loyal to your seniors
Yeah.
who rode the pine 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
always
exactly.
like love that. Like whenever it would be, whenever it's like senior day, the last home game of the year, he would bring on like and if it was like Duke UNC, it would be like all 5 starters were seniors, and it was like 3 of them were just like dudes who you've never seen before. Well, you've seen them, but they're on the end of the bench just going nuts, like during games and stuff. And
Yeah.
then they're starting, and they're like, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
why am I out here right now?"
Yeah.
And then like a minute would go by, and he's like, "All right, get out.
Yeah.
Let's bring on the real players."
Yeah.
But
Right.
it was a nice little homage.
Yeah. It was like me during high school.
All right, let's get Nick out there.
Yeah. I'm like,
Everybody
holy
clap.
shit. I'm not supposed to be out here. Ah, fuck.
Everybody clap for Nick.
Freaking out.
Wrong goal, Nick. Wrong goal. Oh no!
Yeah.
I scored. I scored. Yeah, you did, buddy.
Everybody's
Good.
like, just clap. Just clap.
Yay! I scored a goal.
Oh man. Yeah. Good times.
And the
Good
ref's
times.
like looking the other way. He's like letting you travel and stuff.
I feel sympathy for this
It's
kid.
like a Make-A-Wish game.
It is.
No.
Good times.
Yep.
It really was pretty close to that though. I was pretty bad.
Well, I mean, at least you got out there, you got better, you improved.
Yeah. It's,
And we had fun.
well, that's true. That's true. Built up a lot of great memories playing basketball in elementary school, middle school, high school. It's good times. Yeah. Nerve-wracking, but good times.
Oh, definitely. I just remember always before games, like I was just so nervous.
So
Like
was
I
I.
wanted to throw up before every single game.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got on the court, it was like I don't hear anything else.
Yeah.
It was weird. Just like just get me out there and I'll be fine. But like just the anticipation of it, like
Mm-hmm.
it was crippling.
Yeah. I remember the last 30 seconds of all the blowout games that I was allowed to play. It was crippling anxiety. I hear you.
I had to perform.
I had to perform.
I had a job to
Continue
do.
our 50-point lead.
You're the JaVale McGee of our team.
I think that's a little too high of praise, to be honest with you.
The Dwight Howard, maybe.
Oh, that's even higher praise. No, I can't go that far. No. Yeah, for me, the biggest thing was the psychology of it. Like when I would play basketball, just on my own or against like Stewart, or play against just in general, like play pickup games and stuff. I mean, I could shoot and I could play and everything was fine, but then when we got into the actual games, I mean, my
Dude,
psychology just
100%.
wasn't there. I was like freaking out. Like just never clicked for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely have experienced that before as well. Like when you're much looser and relaxed, like you play a lot better.
Oh yeah,
Like,
definitely.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I felt like when I was playing pickup or like in practice or something, like I felt like I could guard anybody, post up on anybody and do like crazy stuff, but in a game I'm like I need to like be more serious, or like I was more rigid maybe sometimes. It was like the same way in soccer. Like I wasn't nearly as good at soccer as I was in basketball, but like if it was just like a fun scrimmage or something like that, like I felt way better than like in a game where there was actually pressure. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I know what you mean.
I saw a video of Dwayne Wade playing his son recently.
Oh, really?
Did you see that video?
No.
Yeah, it was like him and his son, who I think is still in high school, but obviously very good player. And Dwayne Wade was just having his way with him.
Yeah.
Like not even close. And I'm just like, I mean, obviously it's Dwayne Wade. He's retired, but he's still like, could still probably make a team right now if he
Oh yeah,
wanted to.
I'm sure.
But I don't know. Like people like Dwayne Wade, like pro athletes' son, like his son and like LeBron's son, like they have way more access to better equipment, better coaching, better training. Obviously, their dads are in the NBA. Um, the best facilities and like the best competition, but at the end of the day, like that was kind of just handed to them. Does that play a factor as far as how? Because like LeBron was like pretty poor growing up. He didn't have half the shit that his son has, but yet became the player that he became
Yeah.
through just sheer like hard work, determination. Obviously, genetics played a massive role in like how big he was at a young age, but he still had to figure out how to put that to use. Like I just wonder, like now with kids today, like what is the motivation to be the best? Like have that Kobe Bryant mentality. Like, is there ever going to be somebody like that again?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. It does feel like if you have a certain level of like desperation, that it does create this like need to be one of the best. It's like an insult if you lose. And
Mm-hmm.
now kids these days, they just they lose. I mean, obviously nobody likes to lose, but like they lose and they just kind of shrug it off and just move on to the next thing. Yeah, so I am curious. I mean, you still have kind of your odd. Well, I guess that's not really an oddball. I was thinking Jimmy Butler, but then again, like Jimmy Butler didn't have a great uh, backstory either.
Upbringing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess that's not really an exception. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but I mean, clearly you have really talented guys. You have really talented players, but yeah, you gotta. It's always great to have like these players that do have that killer mindset, that just want to
Yeah.
dominate the game just because they have this like sense of pride, like they just
Mm-hmm.
have to be the best.
Yeah.
Also, also people being so friendly with one another, you
Right.
know, like you know, talk
And
about like
this
the
is
Pistons
this is
and Jordan,
yeah,
like
the Celtics era, the
yeah, I mean,
Pistons, the Bulls.
freaking
I
hated
mean,
each
even
other.
oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's still they hate each other today. Like Michael Jordan still hates Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, well, after Isaiah Thomas just walked off and didn't
Right.
shake his hand or
Yeah. And yeah, it's the same in the NFL too. I mean, JJ Watt just had that like speech about, you know, going out there every day and trying to be better. I don't know if you saw that, but he was like talking about someone asked him about like, you know, teams tanking to get better picks and stuff, and he just absolutely went off because he's like, you know, we're so lucky to be in this position. The fans pay so much money to see us and like have hope in us, and like for you to not go out there and be 100% every day is a complete insult, and you don't deserve to be here if your mentality is like we're going to go out here and lose.
yeah,
um, which I totally agree. I mean, it's would suck to be a losing team, but at least you want to try to win.
yeah. Meanwhile,
But,
as you get to like 0-11, your manager's like, "Hey, JJ, just chill, dude. Just here, take some
yeah, sit
weed.
this one out.
Just sit this
Yeah,
one out, dude. We've made our decision."
yeah. It's a weird. That's a weird thing about the draft and stuff like that, and teams tanking. But
It's like
yeah,
our
just
damn
don't.
welfare system.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like rewarding people just for showing up,
Oh
giving
yeah.
everybody like a, good job because you played and had fun. Like that's just, it doesn't get anywhere with that. I mean, I understand like, you want to have fun and like that's a big part of it is like playing something and developing a team relationship with stuff, especially at a young age, but like there's no incentive to win if you don't say like fuck you, you lost. You suck. Like you literally suck. And what are you going to do about it? Not shit cuz I just beat you. And you're always going to be a loser. Like some people need to hear that to be like, holy shit, like maybe I am, and I need to do something about this complacent mentality I have and actually get out there and become what I potentially can become.
Or become a
And
liberal.
oh,
Okay, I'm done.
yeah, and especially in sports, like I just hate to see, I hate to see people dancing like TikToking before a game and like
Yeah.
dapping up the other team and like hugging people and
We going out later?
yeah, yeah. It's just like it's just all about your social media now and like how many likes you can get rather than like how many wins you can get.
Mm.
It's about winning. Don't forget it. Count the votes. He won.
Except in certain states. Be very
Yeah,
selective. We
stop
will
the
send you a
vote.
list of which states to continue.
Okay, stop now. Stop, stop, stop.
Stop.
Okay, you keep counting. Keep counting.
Yeah.
Only in rural counties.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Yeah.
on that, go
That's
ahead.
it. That's
Oh,
it.
okay. On that note of Kyle's inspirational words about
Yep.
you're a fuck up and all that stuff, and you got to be better.
Yeah.
It's
Be
good.
better.
Good place. Good place to end this new year, 2021.
Yeah.
This year's gonna be
Nick.
so much better.
I mean, how could it not be?
Yeah.
You know? Nick, is your resolution, I'm going to go to the gym or, yeah, we'll see you for about a week, dude. We'll
You're
see you
making
for
me
about a
feel
week.
bad.
We'll see you for about a week and then you'll be gone, bro. That's how you are.
Oh man.
We'll see you at anytime. Yeah, we'll see you at Planet Fitness
Planet
for like a
Fitness.
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then you'll like come in and then you'll be
Eat
like,
the pizza and then walk out. I'm not feeling it today,
I
guys.
forgot something in my car.
In my car, you just see me burn out as I peel out.
Burger King wrappers flying out your truck, man.
No, I don't. I don't have a New Year's resolution. I don't have a New Year's resolution. I haven't had. Well, that's not true. I had one, I guess, like 2 years ago. I said I was going to read a book a month, which was pretty conservative. Yeah, daunting. I was like, a book? What is that? No. I've been continuing that one for a long time now. But I like to do things that are manageable, that aren't going to
Dr.
like
Seuss
super
books.
stress me. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about generally New Year's resolutions that aren't
Oh,
going to like
okay.
stress me out. What about you? Do you have one?
No, I mean, I've never really done New Year's resolution. Always think about for like a half second, like maybe I will just do no drink or like sober January. I guess that's a
Yeah.
big thing that people do.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, I don't have a problem and I really enjoy the taste of wine and beer, so why would
Yeah.
I do that to myself?
Hey, that's a legitimate thought. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe you can hope for a better Christmas.
Hey, there you go. That's the little things.
A
Yeah, I
third
guess
year in a
that'll
row.
do it. Yeah. 31's my year.
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't remind me.
Mm,
Yeah. All right. Well, You heard it here, folks. We don't have any New Year's resolutions. But if you do, go ahead and comment below. And also be sure to hit us up on Instagram at Homespun Yak.
Subscribe and like, and we'll make your dreams come true.
All right. See you guys.